The Who Would Win of the Week this week is Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs versus Ty Pennington from Extreme Home Makeover.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Old school style. These are the shows that were on cable Extreme
Yeah.
Home Makeover was prime time, baby. That was Sunday nights at like
Ty
8 o'clock.
Pennington. Yeah, Ty Pennington. That's his name, I think. It's not his real name, but that's his Extreme Home Makeover name,
That's his,
apparently.
yeah, that's his,
That's a
that's his
stage
stage name.
name.
Who, honestly, Ty Pennington, to me, just looks like an off-brand ShamWow guy.
Dude,
Like, he really
he lived
I
in a
did not like his
prime
style.
era. Here's what I'll say is you can make fun of the way that the guy looks, yeah, but he lived in the prime era for that style. Because that style, frosted tips and an oversized like button-up shirt with a hookah necklace or whatever they're called,
Puka.
hookah. Was it like that? He was
Puka
he
necklace.
was invented for that style of clothing, and he couldn't have been born at a better time for it.
That's true. I mean, if you do Extreme Home Makeover, uh, even just 5 years before or after, he's not getting that hosting gig.
No, mm-mm. Because he didn't have it.
Now, Ty Pennington,
Because
what?
he didn't have it. But he
Didn't
had the
have it.
look. Frosted tips. Without frost, who is like I'm looking at a picture of him from recently, and it looks like he's got a little bit of a man bun situation going on, maybe, and he looks creepy,
Yeah, of
very
course.
creepy.
I think he was always creepy. That show, I mean, we watched that show very regularly for a period of time. And when I reflect back on it, I'm like, I don't think I really liked this program that much. You
Well,
know what I've heard that like
yeah,
the homes that they
it
build
did. It,
for the
it people
people,
got fucked because
yeah.
they couldn't pay the taxes on it.
Yeah, all of a sudden they have this nice house in this area where the other houses are like way more normal looking than this new fucking crazy McMansion or whatever you want to say they put up. And yeah, these people, I mean, who knows how long they actually got to live in their
Well, that's most of
SpongeBob
it. Like
themed
it wasn't.
rooms or whatever they
They
put in
they
there.
there's a documentary about it, and I think it
Oh,
like most
really?
of the families like it bankrupted them, and they had to leave within like 24 months of that their episode like airing, and
Jesus.
because they couldn't afford the tax on them. And a lot of people were like, all we wanted was like a regular house. Like we didn't ask for this massive house. We just wanted a regular house. Another thing too that would happen, and I because I saw a couple clips of the documentary was they would get robbed every day.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
because people
Shit.
knew they had all this new nice shit in
God.
them.
I mean, you think about that. Can you imagine putting your where you live on national television?
And like, hey, here's also the entire layout. Here's where everything is. Yeah,
Here are the
here,
best places to hide. Here are the best windows to
yeah,
access from the ground
yeah,
floor. Oh my
yeah.
god.
So yeah, that's what I mean. So yeah, people said it
And
was,
now let me
and
say this to tie it into the who would win. Mike Rowe would never.
well,
Mike Rowe would
that's
never
exactly where
disrespect somebody like
that's
that.
exactly that's exactly where I wanted to go with this, Andy. But my last thing is, like there was, I believe there was a lawsuit against the show because the show was on for a lot of seasons and it was making like the show made a ton of money, but all these people were just like getting fucked,
Yeah.
because like a lot of what they were putting in the show, like they weren't buying either because it would be like Home Depot or Lowe's would like sponsor the lumber, and then like LG would sponsor like the appliances. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
for
right.
like advertising on that front. So the show itself was
Damn.
making all this money, and it was leaving all
It's a
these
good
poor
racket.
families just disheveled. But getting into Mike Rowe, then Dirty Jobs. Obviously, I mean everybody who's familiar with the show, or even if you're not, just hearing the name, guy's not afraid to get his hands dirty. But here's the thing about Mike Rowe: he doesn't take shortcuts. He does things the right way. He wouldn't take a shortcut if you handed it to him on a silver platter. He wants to do things the right way. And I know what a lot of people are thinking. It's what you're thinking, Andy. Mike Rowe, tough, works with his hands. Ty Pennington, maybe put up a couple pieces of plywood just for promotions, but he wasn't actually doing the hard work. He wasn't doing the physical labor, this, that, the other thing. Here's the thing, though. Mike Rowe refuses to take a shortcut. I'm pretty sure Ty Pennington would have died as a child from natural selection if he wasn't willing to take any possible shortcut. Like he doesn't play things by the book. He does whatever he needs to do to get ahead. He built his entire career in television off of extorting working class families. That's the opposite of what Mike Rowe stands for. But I do think that it gives him an advantage in this fight because Mike Rowe's not going to want to fight. It's like in Fast and Furious 5, maybe 6,
Of course.
when Dom Toretto pulls up and he pulls out like a giant wrench, and the British guy, I can't think of his name right now. He's like, "Oh, you thought this was going to be a street fight?" And he pulls out like a mini Uzi and like points it at him. You know what I mean? That would be like that's how this fight would go. Mike Rowe would want to like square up old fashioned style, maybe try to have a can of spinach beforehand, and Ty Pennington would like, yeah, throw anthrax in his face and then run away.
Yeah, truly, he would like be on the ground, throw sand in Mike Rowe's eyes. Now, obviously, Mike Rowe, that wouldn't
Nope.
affect him, but a normal person,
Yeah.
that would be a real cheap
Yeah,
shot.
yeah, and that's why this fight gets interesting though, because to your point, it wouldn't affect Mike Rowe like it would your average, you know, Joe.
No, you make a great point where these are guys who've taken two completely different paths, but both have led them to success.
Yep.
Of, of um, but yeah, Ty Pennington. I mean, he can't even finish dyeing his own hair. He can only do the
Yep.
little
Just the
tippy
tips.
tops. It's shortcuts all the way. But it is interesting. You know, it's just I think it's maybe a little more who's going to have the opportunity here because, like you said, yeah, Mike Rowe, he's not going to. He's about the dirty jobs, but he's not about fighting dirty. And Ty Pennington, that's the only way he knows how to get anything done. So, but if Mike Rowe knows this has to go, there's only one way for this to be finished. Then he's not going to leave a job undone.
Yeah, he would
never
never leave
has.
the
He's
job
not going to
undone.
start now.
That I agree with. I'm glad you got to that point because listen, you know me. I'm always going to look at this from all angles. I play the game with integrity here, Andy, and I do think that Ty Pennington has a chance to pull one over at the start on Mike Rowe. But to your point, Mike Rowe never leaves a job unfinished. Doesn't matter if he's crawling with no legs. He's going to get to Ty Pennington, and he's going to silence, the man who has impacted, in a negative sense, the lives of so many working class Americans, the people that Mike Rowe stands for.
Yeah, Mike Rowe's one of the last true Americans, without a doubt.
I'm taking Mike Rowe. I think you have to.
Oh yeah, I'm taking Mike Rowe too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit I've got some personal bias on this for sure. I do not enjoy Ty Pennington.
Well, I think that's Ty
necessarily.
Pennington's whole. Like, I think that's nobody
whole thing.
looks at Ty Pennington and is like, God damn, I wish there was more Ty Pennington in my life.
Yeah. But so it's going to be very satisfying to see Mike Rowe take care of business in this particular
Yeah,
instance.
to see him get that bitch, as they say.
Yeah.
All right, vote on that on Instagram on Friday. Who would win of the week? Mike Rowe from 30 Jobs versus Ty Pennington from Extreme Makeover Home Edition, I believe is the actual title of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a clean sweep on our end. We'll see what the people say.